Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled Parents. In today's episode, EM is mad that I bought a pool. Parents at graduation. Entitled Aunt stole ashes. Update, Entitled Aunt stole ashes. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. EM is mad that I bought a pool. Just like my last post, it's about my aunt. With my last post, it was about sandals. This post, I literally spent another $50 on a kiddie pool and posted it to my Facebook saying, "Bought my girls a pool." The my girls part was about my daughter and niece because I babysit my niece a lot, so obviously it's for her as well. She messaged me saying it would be nice if you included me and my kids as well. We never get invited over like Sil and her family. It shows you don't care about actual family. Sil is my sister-in-law, husband's sister. I literally babysit for them 5 days a week, and of course they come over a lot. My Sil has literally helped us in so many ways, housing us, feeding us, and she literally jumps when we need help. My aunt does absolutely nothing us. LMAO, I'm already LC with the aunt. I haven't responded to her since I brought her out of town. I am petty. I would literally respond because I actually like Sil and family. It blows my mind how she thinks she's entitled to come over because we're family. She has burned every bridge with our family members. Nah, reply with I am choosing my family. You're the one trying to manipulate me and worm your way into something you're not welcome to. Look in a mirror. I would tell her, you're right, spending time with family is important. We would love to come over all summer when you get a pool. Just let us know when it's set up and we will be right over. When she says she was talking about your pool, we only got one big enough for the 2 kids. I'm excited for when you get a bigger one for everyone. Don't take the bait. Let her show everyone how awful she is. Why is she mad about a kiddie pool? It's not like she can hang out and swim laps. I think it might be time to block her on everything, especially social media. I feel sorry for her kids. Practice saying this, how I spend my money is not up for discussion. Then point out that when you do invite her places, she tells you how you should spend your money. You worked for it, and so you are the only person entitled to spend it. I delete inappropriate messages that anyone posts on my social media. My FB page is not a forum for anyone to bring up grievances. She is trying to embarrass you. I've only had to delete about 3 times. She personally messaged me. Didn't comment on my post. But I haven't responded to her since her last remark about me being selfish towards her. She's messaged me asking for all kinds of favors and being passive-aggressive about the shit I buy for myself and my daughter. I used to get a lot of flack for sharing random details of my life on SM. Now I dramatically limit personal things because of the haters. New car? None of their business. Medical things? Nothing. Concert? No check-in, no pictures, nothing. People get a picture of a kid for a milestone, and my kids are old enough where I ask them if they're okay with me posting about it on SM before I do so. I recommend unfollowing the EM so she doesn't see what you're doing, or limit what you post. Just send a pic as a text to your mom and say L. Totally. I think the last thing I put on Facebook was when I took a picture of a squirrel that was using the crosswalk properly. When you act like family, I'll treat you like family. Parents at graduation. I don't know if this is really entitled parents or just oblivious parents. I graduated from law school yesterday at a sizable state university. All us grads were in our regalia and posing for a group picture on the front steps of the building. A bunch of parents and other family members were continuously getting in the frame of the camera, usually behind the group of graduates. The photographer's assistant was using a bullhorn, telling the parents they had to move, but they just stood there, despite repeated instructions. The assistant finally had to go up to them to tell them to move, that yes, the instructions to get out of the picture were directed at them. We worked 3 years for this. Let us have our moment. These parents are way too clingy to their kids. Just let them have their moment, they are adults, not little kids. They just want attention like, hey, my son graduated. Like, geez, we get it, your son is smart, now let him have the moment. I think it's a combination of entitled and oblivious. Entitled, oblivious, and embarrassing. Congrats on your graduation. Not forgetting downright obnoxious. They want to take part in the glory too, LMAO. It's entitlement. I hope he used the bullhorn when he went next to the parents. Schools in our area have banned clapping and yelling, which I agree with. Violators will be escorted out by police. This makes sure that every student's name can be heard by all of their loved ones. What ridiculous people. They can have as many photos, professional and amateur, taken of them and their kids as they like. They don't need to hijack the group pic. I worked as a model for a very short time and did a couple of photo shoots. One in a public place. You would not believe what people feel entitled to do. I was in a mini skirt and light blouse and had men repeatedly walk behind me to try and cop a feel. I wish I were kidding. I finally called a big burly friend of mine and he put a stop to it in a hurry. Funny how a big, hairy biker will change people's attitudes. I work in an NFL stadium that hosts at least 4 graduations a day. Even with no games, the NFL insists we treat every day as game day in terms of security procedures. The instructions, approved items list, and protocols are sent to each person. With all that, we still get about 50 ppl, a graduation that get pissed because either their purse is too big, their present is wrapped, or there are no inflatable balloons. It's so bad, I told my boss, don't schedule me those days. Not graduation, but my son's high school soccer team won district championship last week, and they were all posed in front of the soccer goal for pictures. Same thing happened. Several entitled soccer moms got right up in front of the boys to take pictures instead of standing back like the rest of us. It was so frustrating. No, you don't understand, we did this. Entitled aunt stole ashes. When I 20F was a kid, my beautiful great aunt, Beth, sadly passed away from aggressive cancer. She was cremated, and my mother was given a small pendant with her ashes in it. Due to some messy family problems, Beth stated that she never wanted any of her ashes to go to my great-grandmother, ADF. It is important to note that great-grandma, despite being a literal millionaire, refused to help pay for Beth's cancer treatments because she should have married a richer man. It's common in my family to pass the pendant around as a token of strength, which is why I thought nothing of it when my Aunt Kathy, 40F, asked to borrow the pendant, which was in my care. She said her doctor thought she had cancer, and she wanted to wear it for the biopsy. I didn't think twice before I gave it to her. 2 weeks later, she returns the pendant, and I noticed a large glob of superglue on top of the screw that seals the ashes in the pendant. I brought this up to my mom, who suggested that I try to open it. I tried, but the screw was superglued into the pendant and I didn't have the tools to get it out without damaging the necklace. We brought it up to Kathy, and she nervously shrugged it off. I mailed it to my mom to fiddle with, and put the issue at the back of my mind. A few weeks later, my great-grandma came to town for a visit. Last week my mom was finally able to crack the necklace open. Lo and behold, the ashes were nowhere to be found. I instantly knew Kathy stole the ashes and gave them to great-grandma, against Beth's dying wish. My mom called up Kathy and asked her if she stole them. She was caught so off guard, she admitted to it. However, she didn't apologize for stealing them. She said she would have never done it if she knew we would have found out, and that maybe my mother and I wouldn't be so upset if we never opened the necklace in the first place. I cannot comprehend how a person is so entitled that they feel it's okay to 1. Steal ashes, 2. Disrespect the dying wish of the person whose ashes they stole, and 3. Not feel remorseful/blame us for being upset. Maybe she wanted to secure her place in great-grandma's will, or maybe she truly just lacks a moral compass. Either way, I'm infuriated, but sleeping while knowing I have one less crazy aunt to deal with. Could this be considered theft, as in filing a police report? I've thought about it, but I think it would be tricky since I shipped the necklace across state lines for my mom to open it. No. It's a civil matter. I know because my in-laws stole my husband's ashes and I had no recourse. Where did the rest of Beth's ashes go, and is there any chance of getting them back? Maybe a cousin can need them for strength and return them? I believe the rest were spread somewhere in Hawaii. It was really all we had left, sad face. I try to file a police report, or at least publicly shame her. She deserves every last bit of it. As crappy as it sounds, if you have no recourse any other way, I'd tell the aunt you lent it to that she is excommunicated from the family until she returns them and to not call or ask for anything until she does. I'd certainly get the rest of your family on your side as well to add pressure. My guess is dear old auntie would empty her ashtray and give those ashes to them. Someone who has no morals acts immorally. Do you plan on getting the ashes back? I would like to try, but the messy family problems is the fact that my great-grandmother, who received the ashes from my aunt, is a very selfish woman who was married to a former DA. That being said, I don't know if any legal action would turn up a result, given her husband's connections, so the only way to get them back would be if I or my mother were to convince her to give them back out of the kindness of her heart. This is disgusting. Your aunt is the worst of the worst. WTAF. Then to say she wouldn't have done if she thought you would have noticed it. She knew exactly what she was doing and she knew it was wrong. Threaten her with civil court if she does not get the ashes back. Also, if she gives you ashes back, make sure they are actually the ashes she took. I'm sorry your aunt is so selfish. Update: entitled Aunt Stole Ashes. A few months ago, I, 20F, posted about how my Aunt Kathy, 40F, stole my necklace full of my deceased Aunt Beth's ashes and gave them away to my great-grandmother, who Beth specifically stated she did not want to end up with. I have come to y'all with an explosive update. About last week, Kathy accused me of selling marijuana to my cousin, 16M. Of course, this was a false and completely baseless accusation. I told my mom, and it upset her enough to confront Kathy. Some nasty words were exchanged, which led to my mother exposing the truth about Kathy and the ashes to my other aunts. In an unexpected turn of events, 2 of my 3 other aunts knew about the situation. Things went ballistic. My mother was reasonably upset, told them how morally messed up they all were, and left it at that. I sent a message to Kathy that basically said, I don't know what to say, I trusted you. Good luck getting places by fucking over people who love you, blocked her, and put it away. My other aunts have reached out, and I've decided to put my relationship with them on the back burner for now. I thought things were all said and done, until today, when Kathy sent the following message to my mother. This will be the last thing, and I will leave you alone. Please know that I am sorry you are hurt. I thought we had already begun our healing process and I was caught off guard by your note. Please, I beg you to be careful about allowing Opie to spew poison into our relationship. She convinced me to hate Opie's sister before she came down to visit. She filled my head with constant meddling and exaggerated comments. I didn't realize it until Opie left and her tricks faded away. Opie once told me in the midst of a lie that I caught her in, wow, my mom usually falls for it, but you can see right through me. This comment keeps playing in my head and is even louder now. I do not mean to cause a divide between you two, but please be aware she is a loaded gun and is running the show. Opie is raged with jealousy and has your complete and undivided attention. You both have every right to be angry, but the truth is being twisted by Opie. I really want to work on our relationship. I get if you need space, but please fact check your daughter and don't reward this self-destructing behavior. I tried to have a relationship with her when Aunt One was here, but she wouldn't have it. she knew exactly what she was doing and created the awkwardness. I would never keep her from Aunt 1. She intentionally did this and had you believe it. I will give you space now, but your child is dangerous and you are enabling and empowering her worst trait. I love you, Opie's mom, and will never be mad at you. She also messaged my sister saying how I allegedly hate her and shit talk her frequently. I don't even know what to say about this message. First and foremost, I feel like she is 100% trying to change the subject from her ash thievery. Secondly, she is clearly trying to drive a wedge between me and my immediate family because she destroyed her own sister relationships through her reckless actions. Half of the things in the message aren't even true, and everyone I've shown it to has laughed at how ridiculous she sounds. I'm blessed enough to have a strong bond with my mom and sister, so they fired some shots back in my defense without me even knowing. My family is so messed up, man. Welcome to the Messed Up Family Club. Mom needs to respond back. I know the truth. Stop slandering my daughter before we get a lawyer involved. Give the ashes back. Police. The aunt stole her property and admitted it. It says they already did. My grandma was cremated because she wanted to be buried back on the res, and shipping her body was too expensive for our family. Then, 2 weeks after her funeral, my stepdad was severely burned. So it took a year to get her buried, and I felt really bad about that. If someone had stolen her ashes, I don't even know what I'd have done. Geez, they are awful people. They may be messed up, but you know who you can count on. Your mom already talked to her sisters and they know you and they know your aunt, the thief. Your aunt, the thief, knows what she did and how she lied. Let her flap her gums. The smart aunties know who the liar and thief is. Not you. I know how you feel. My aunt would steal the pennies off a dead man's eyes. I had to say, could we let her body cool before we start talking about divvy up her stuff? Can the vultures wait a few days? To my aunt after the passing of my grandmother. It was special. I think toonies would be appropriate these days. My grandmother told me and my younger brother when we were little that we shouldn't love our parents because they drink and smoke and we should love her instead. I can't find OP's OG post. I think you should go get those ashes back, especially if it was written in the will or if it was verbally stated in front of more than one person. It's the law, I'm pretty sure. Sometimes I lament the fact that my family is so spread out and boring. Reading this subreddit is like the child-free equivalent of a screaming toddler in a restaurant, lol. I hope things calm down for you. Did you get the necklace back? They got the necklace, but the ashes are gone. The thing about manipulative people is that they continue manipulating even when fully discovered and called out. That little story time your aunt put on about you saying you were caught is just plain dumb as rocks. I just don't understand how you are content to not take any kind of legal action or publicly shaming your aunt and great-grandmother. What they did is horrible. I bet that millionaire who wouldn't pay for her own daughter's cancer treatment disposed of her ashes as a power play. They have no morality and will both burn in hell when their times come. Two disgraces, outright. I don't understand how you can just let this be. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.